it's going to be extremely difficult. What you see right now on the ground, the divided Gaza, I'm sad to say, it's probably what you're going to see throughout most of 2026. I mean, anybody looking at the situation in Gaza right now and comparing the challenges that need to be overcome on one hand and looking at the 20-point Trump peace plan would have to conclude that there's a huge disconnect between aspiration and results. The reality is both of the previous ceasefires, one in November 2023, the other one in January in 2025, cratered because they couldn't get beyond phase one. And that's fundamentally driven by the fact that Israel's conception of an end state for Gaza is fundamentally different than Hamas's. And nothing that has been done shows any signs of being able to bridge that gap. You know, one of the things I've learned about Israeli-Palestinian negotiations, in fact, the late Prime Minister Rabin said there are no sacred dates. Look, the reality is what you see in Gaza right now. You know, Julius Caesar said that Gaul was divided into three parts. Well, Gaza is divided into two. It's dysfunctional, it's divided, and it's violent. And I'm afraid I see no way of overcoming this geographic reality. What you're going to see, I would predict, in the next several months, aside from the formation of the Board of Peace and the Executive Committee and the announcement of names of the formal beginning of the Palestinian Technocratic Committee. And by the way, there's some very, very well and highly qualified Palestinians from Gaza toward that effort. But the reality is something quite different. What you're going to see is a lot of activity in the Israeli-controlled part of Gaza. You may get some international stabilization force, a few countries, to deploy in the Israeli-controlled area, where the Israelis could undertake a performative, not significant or final, but a performative withdrawal. That's what you're going to see. And it strikes me as almost impossible to imagine that Gaza would be unified in a way that stand to the benefit of 2 million Palestinians, 10% of whom are probably living in the Israeli zone. You have less food insecurity now, but the problem now is shelter and the absence of access to potable water, to sanitation, to medical care. And you have an entire generation of younger Palestinians traumatized as a consequence of the October 7 attacks and Israeli response. So Gaza is a mess. And without leadership in Israel, among the Palestinians, you need one gun, one authority, one negotiating position. And in Washington, without real leadership in these three quarters, it's going to be extremely difficult. What you see right now on the ground, the divided Gaza, I'm sad to say, it's probably what you're going to see throughout most of 2026.